Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adams Show. My name remains Adam Solofimilajide, and you are welcome specially. You are welcome. All right. So, how has been the day? How's your week been? For me personally, I'm very, very, very grateful that like my health is restored. I think this year, this weather has just been kind of somehow for me, but hey, I am good to go. All right. So, how is work generally? Did you guys get to go for an one bed? Did it rain where you are? And is life treating you well? And you are doing exceptionally well. Okay. So, today's episode, we'll be looking at how to tell your brand's story. I can see someone liking me on Facebook. Thank you for liking me. But I think I would actually prefer you guys to just stick around and then get to watch me. Okay, so you know how we do it. If this is your first time of being a part of the show, let me know. If you would like to introduce yourself, also irrespective of where you are watching me from, let me also know that too. Okay, just put your name and your location in the comment section, and I would put up your details on the screen. All right, moving on. While we are waiting for people to do that, I want to ask my very first question. I want to ask you guys is this: do you remember while growing up how much you loved being told a story? I for one, like I could remember having to grow up, and then like my dad would tell us stories. The story about the tortoise, the dog, and then at a point my dad stopped telling us stories, and then like we had a particular neighbor that also told us stories till a particular level. I'm sorry, till a particular point in our lives, and I can say that I personally, like actually enjoyed listening to stories. And I can also say the same for a lot of people out there. A lot of people actually enjoy hearing stories. And whether we like it or not, stories have a way of making us become more imaginative, especially like when that story relates to what is actually happening in our personal lives. Like a lot of us enjoy hearing stories. Um, Yeah, I'm seeing more people coming in. If you'd like to introduce yourself, please do that while we are in on the show. All right, so back to what I was saying. Now, the same way you enjoy listening to stories, right? Like somebody comes on stage or anywhere and then they tell you story. Once upon a time, there used to be a boy, he lives in this place, and then like he did this, he did that, and all that. And then like you will sit and you'll be so engulfed in the whole message of the story. The same way, also, you can also tell a story about your company, about your brand. And people would love to hear it if you actually say it the right way. If you say the story the right way, people would want to sit down and listen to your brand story. So today's episode, we are looking at how to tell your brand's story. How do you tell your brand story? But before I go or dive right in, right, I am going to first of all show an example of a company that hit the nail on the head by telling their own story, right? I'll show you their story, and from there I would then analyze everything that is done, and then how you can now also do the same thing in your own business. So I'm quickly going to share my screen right now. I'm sorry. I have this phlegm in my throat, and well, it's gonna go eventually. So let me just quickly try to like share my screen right now. Let's share the screen. Let's share the screen. Oh, what just? Oh, okay. For a moment there, I thought I was actually lost. So I'm gonna bring this one up. I'm gonna add this to the screen and make this full screen. All right. So let's play.
Dad. Ready.
Did you look outside?
every time I look at you, I fall in love all over again.
Hair's coming down.
Show me that. And you're the reason I do what I do. I hope someday you appreciate that. Don't ever lose your innocence. Don't you lose that heart. Don't you lose your confidence. Oh, but most of all, don't lose your love. Love. Oh, but most of all, don't lose your love.
Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
All right, so I'm sure you guys got the story, right? Let me just try to recap. Now, what the story was about was a guy that wanted to go for his very first date, right? And he told his dad that he was ready to go for the date. And the dad, seeing how harsh the weather was trying to tell the son that, hey, it's harsh out there. That are you sure you'd really want to go for that date in this weather? And the son was like, okay, yeah, I would love to go. And then the mother encouraged the father to take the son out there. And then the father took the son in the Mercedes car. And then they got to the venue. The son at some point felt that maybe the lady would not show up. And then all of a sudden, another car came up, also Mercedes-Benz car. And then the girl showed up and they went for the date. Now, that is a very lovely story. But beyond the story, right, the brand Mercedes was still able to send their message across to people, all right, to tell them that irrespective of whatever weather or whatever problem that you might have, Mercedes car can always drive through any form of weather. But that is not the part. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for being a part of the show, Damilola. All right, so now let's now dive right into how you can tell your brand story using this particular scenario as an example. Now, the first part you need to find out is this: what is your company's vision? What is your company about, right? Now, for Mercedes-Benz, their company is about selling cars, not just any car. The type of cars they sell are the type that they are trying to make us realize that it can drive in any form of condition, right? Meaning that their cars are rugged, they are classy, and they are rugged, right? Now, that is the core aspect of the company. Now, for your own business also, you may ask yourself, okay, what is my business about? What message do I want my audience to also know about my business, right? Now, once you're able to tell what your business is about, the next part is, who are your target audience? Who are the people that you're actually trying to tell the brand story to? Because in trying to tell a brand story, you need to know those people that you're trying to sell the story to, right? Now, once you know your target audience, I think we did in one of our past episodes, we talked about how we can profile our potential clients or our audiences, right? If you haven't, or if you were not on that episode, please try to watch it, but I'll just give a brief summary of what I said in the last episode, right? Sorry. Okay. So, as I was saying, you need to know what location they are in, their geopolitical location, right? Their sex, if your brand is selling to just the male folk or the female folk, or probably it's both of them, then what is their age range, right? Are you selling to the younger demographic age group? Are you selling to people who are in their mid-years, or are you selling to the older people, right? You need to find out that about your potential or about your audience, right? Then where are they based? What is their location? Then what type of jobs do they do and what interests them? Now, once you know all these little things about your audience, then now we would then dive right into the story that you want to tell. Now, every story, as it were, has to have a major character, right? It can be more than one major character, but it has to have one major character. Now, in this particular story, it's the boy. The boy is the character, right? Now, the boy is someone that like every other person can easily relate to. All of us at some point we have fallen in love, right? So we can easily relate with a young boy who is trying to go for his first date, right? And he had to ask his father that like, hey dad, I'd love to go for the date, irrespective of the weather out there. Now, main character, right? The main character has to have a relatable story with your audience. Now, in this scenario, it's a family setting and then a boy that is in love. Now, ask yourself when it comes to your own business, right? That like, what character am I going to create that is relatable to the potential audience that I want to send the message to, right? You need to be able to like profile that and then like know how, know who would best fit, right? In your own case, it may not be a young boy. In your own case, it may be probably like a lady in her 20s. If you're probably like selling female wears, right? And because well, we know that like there are some transgenders, but more often than not, people that like would probably patronize someone that is into fashion wears would probably be ladies, especially if it is female clothes, right? So maybe your main character would be a lady. Now, that said, in writing your story, right, based on what your company is about, you've created this storyline that like, I'm sorry, I need to cough again. I'm so sorry about this. It's okay. Yeah, my throat is cleared again. Thank you. All right. So, as I was saying, you've created the character, right? Now, in your story, there has to be a conflict. There has to be a conflict because you cannot just say something straight away like the boy just went for the date. No. The conflict in this particular video that we just watched was the weather. The weather was the barrier at that point in time, right? There has to be a conflict, something that like would the main character has to scale through, right? Let me cite an example. Let's say, for instance, you're trying to like write a brand story for your company that is into perfume, for instance, now, and then like you are trying to go for an interview, and all of a sudden something came up, right? What can I use? What can I use? Let's say something splashed on you while you're trying to go for the interview, right? And then like you're kind of smelling a mess. And as much as you've tried to like wash the thing off, the faint odor is still there. And that interview you're trying to go for is very, very important to you. That even though you try to cover it up, right? It is still showing that, what's the word now? That although the smell is still coming up. Now, at that point in time, you could now say that your perfume, right, is the solution. Now, still being determined to go for the interview and not being able to go back home to change, right? We could say that like you're selling this pocket perfume oil, for instance, and then like all the main character had to just do was to quickly rub the perfume oil on his body and on her body, irrespective of who the main character is, and that boosts their confidence that the person could go for the interview, scale through the interview that even the judges could not even tell what happened before then, and all thanks to what? Your brand. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Or the whole concept of conflict and how your own brand comes up as the savior, as it were, of the day. The same thing with this the story, right? The boy wanted to go for a date. The weather was the conflicts, right? The hurdle that they had to jump over, right? Cut across for him to be able to go on the date. Now, the same hurdle was the same challenge that the lady faced, but thanks to Mercedes-Benz, they were able to what? Go for the date. All right. That is how you do what? You tell a story. Have your main character have a conflict or something, a hurdle that like the main character has to pass across, and then your brand would serve as the solution or one of the major catalysts to helping the person to scale through that hurdle that they are facing at that point in time. All right. It is so easy in writing a brand story. And basically, that is the summary of having to write a brand story. I'm sorry, I'm trying to like check something on my laptop. All right. So, as I said, you know, the first part is knowing what your company is about, right? Second part, know your target audience, who you're trying to sell to. Then, based on your target audience, create a character, a hero for your story, right? Then let there be a conflict, something that like the hero has to pass through to achieve something greater. Now, write your story along that path, and then let your service, your business be the solution to helping the person to cross that hurdle. And at the end of the day, it is a win-win situation for everyone, and people would be able to relate. Like, you create your story in such a way that like people will be able to relate to it, and then before you know it, your brand becomes something that sticks to the mind of people, right? It sticks to the minds of people, and people would literally, what's the word now? They you know, there's some advertisement that like you watch, right? That you can quickly remember, as compared to others that like you just see and then like you just forget. So that is how you write your brand story. I know this is a little bit short, right? But we've come to the end of today's episode. I am not going to go beyond that point, right? Thank you, Jane. Thank you for telling me well done. I hope you're feeling better now. The last time I spoke to you, you were in the hospital, I guess. Hope you're better now. All right, Mr. Awurinde. Hello, sir. Happy birthday to you. So he said in profiling your audience, the psychography is also very important. Well done, brother. Yes. I think, did I talk about the psychography? No, I did not. I did not talk about the psychography, but I think I need to do a little research on the word psychography before I start nodding my head like, yeah, I know it. Sir, you just said a big grammar. I'll go and do my little research, and I'm going to come back to explain more on psychography. For a lot of the people out there that don't know what psychography is, even I myself, I do not know right now, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to do a little research on it, and then I'm going to talk more on it on another episode. And happy birthday to you once again. All right, everyone. Thank you guys for sticking around till the end of the episode. And for all of you guys that have liked my video on Facebook, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you guys. I need to get going now. Tomorrow is Sunday. I'm preparing for church. And I'm believing God that like this new week will be great for each and every one of us. Have a lovely week, guys. Peace out.